This is what's in my pack. My next video. Hey, I want to thank Holly Miller, a Pacific Crest Trail Angel, for letting me stay here in Washington State this winter. Thank you so much, Holly. Alright, I guess we'll start off with my pack. This will be the 4th year I've had this same pack. It has had a lot of miles. The pack has held up well. Hyper Mountain Light. They make really good packs. I wish it had black when I bought this. When I bought this, they only had it in white, but it's been a really good pack. It's a pack designed for through hiking, which is what I always stress. Don't buy a hiking and camping pack to through hike the Appalachian Trail. Get a pack designed for through hiking. This is a 40-liter pack, which works for me, although there are times where it's a little tight, but if I was to do it over again, I would go 50-liter. Cuban fiber. I love Cuban fiber because it doesn't absorb water. I remember 10 years ago, my first year, how I was amazed to find out backpacks weren't waterproof. Believe me, it's going to rain out there. Now this isn't completely waterproof. It wasn't completely waterproof when it was brand new, but I use a trash bag liner when I think it's going to rain, and everything is good to go. One of the best features is it doesn't get heavier when it gets wet. Your pack will absorb water and actually get heavier, and it doesn't get soaked in sweat. So, it still smells pretty decent. That's the pack. Later I'll show you how to pack it. Alright, no particular order. Let's go with my extra stuff. Usually keep it in this bag. And this is just extra stuff I feel I should have with me at all times on the trail. Alright. The best, I watch all those cable shows, and they're always trying to get fire started and whatnot. The best fire starter out there is a Bic lighter. I always have one I'm using because I am a smoker, and I always have one still sealed in the package it came in, just in case if your Bic lighter does get wet. It will work again, but you got to let it completely dry out. So always have one sealed up. 2 Bic lighters, your best fire starter out there. We're all adults here. I always have a couple condoms in my backpack. You meet a really nice woman and you're 4 days from town. Better safe than sorry. I guess there's survival ways to use these, but the Appalachian Trail isn't about survival, but yeah, you could actually fill these with water, make them a water container. I do watch the cable shows. These are like insurance cards and whatnot here that just in case I should always have with me. This is from last year. I got to make a new one. This was, well, there was more paper, but this was a list of all my audiobooks and what memory cards they're on, so I could find what book I want to listen to. It's also my hard copy for phone numbers and banking information in case my phone gets lost. Fingernail clippers. Yeah, they're a little heavy, but you need these. For one thing, keep your fingernails short. The longer they are, the more dirt and bacteria and crap can get under your nails. And you really got to watch your toenails. Keep those trimmed nice. One razor. Yes, I have a beard, but it does come in handy for trimming other things up real quick and doesn't weigh anything. Some extra rolling papers, because usually sooner or later on the trail I won't be smoking Marlboros. I'll probably have to be smoking hand rolls to save on money, and it's always, you usually run out of papers before you run out of tobacco. This is called a P38. I think it was invented in World War I or World War II, the lightest can opener out there. If you're on a budget like me, and usually my friends are, sometimes you can roll up to a supermarket and there'll be some like canned baked beans or something really cheap. We'll buy a couple cans, go out front, sit down and eat them. Do not carry canned food on the trail. There are times having a little can opener is very handy. I have a pen. The shelters all have registers in them, and most of the time I'll write something, and most of the time they'll have a pen in them, but every now and then they won't. I've always found to have my own pen to come in handy. That's my little sewing kit minus 2 needles. I need to get 2 needles, but I got the little spool of black thread. That little dealie to get the needles threaded, gotta have that. And then I usually stick my needles in that foam piece there. But yeah, sooner or later on the trail, you're probably going to have to sew something up. So it hardly weighs anything, and I do recommend it. And all that would go in this bag. And also athletic tape. This is also my first aid kit. You get a cut, let it bleed a little, pour some water over it, fold up a piece of toilet paper, wrap it with athletic tape. I think athletic tape is so superior to duct tape. This is made to go next to your skin. It's much more comfortable and great for blisters. You know, on the first aid kit thing, I've said it before in my videos, do not bring one of those freaking big tackle box first aid kits out here for all emergencies. You're on the Appalachian Trail, which runs through the eastern half of the United States. You're really never that far from civilization, except for maybe the 100-mile wilderness in Maine. If anything worse happens than a cut, you're going to have to get off the trail anyway. Everybody has phones now, and you're usually not too far from a road to get help. So there's no reason to carry all that extra weight around for the just in case this happens. Alright. Scissors. I have the mustache. You need to keep that thing trimmed. It's the only reason I carry these. I've had smaller ones, but they usually don't work too well. But I'll start off with these. Here is one of your most valuable items of gear. Earplugs. These are the silicone earplugs. Make sure you get the silicone made for swimming. They're the only ones that actually work out there. The foam does not work. If you're going to be a shelter dweller and sleep in shelters, you're going to want these. These just seal out the noise. I use them every night unless I'm completely camping alone. But yeah, you want earplugs. They sell these at any grocery store or drugstore. And also in that bag would usually go my knife. This is a Walmart 99-cent knife. I had a smaller knife last year, which I liked even better, but then, long story short, I found a really cool knife, gave mine away, then I ran into the owner of the cool knife and had to give that back. As far as knives go out there, you do not need some big survival knife. The only time I've ever used my knife is to cut something open. Amazing how many packages you need something to cut it open. And to make a temporary tent stake if I've lost one of mine. But don't carry no big heavy knife. If I come across a smaller knife, I will trade up real quick, believe me. Alright, that would be what's in my stuff that I just feel I need on the trail, but I may not be using every day, kind of thing. Alright, this bag always goes on the outside of my pack. I have my 2-liter platypus. I love these things, and they usually last me a couple years, 2 or 3 years. Remember, I spend at least 7 months outdoors every winter living like this. And I like Aquamira. I've been using it for about 5 or 6 years now. I used to have the pumps and the filters, and I just got tired of that. And over the years, I've gotten pretty good at figuring out water sources that I don't treat. My rule of thumb has always been, if the water source is up high, coming out of the ground, and it's freezing cold, that water's good to go. But if it's ever had any chance of running above ground for any length of time, I will treat it. Aquamira tastes like swimming pool water. And it's very easy to use. 7 drops per liter, shake it up. It says 30 minutes. I usually give it 10. I've been on the trail 10 years, have never been sick. My platypus is for when I make camp, because, oh, you're going to love this. Sometimes the water source is not close to the shelter. So I know at least 3 places where the water source is a half a mile, and a couple of those is straight freaking downhill. And then you got to hike all the way back uphill. I always try to get enough water for camp that night and enough water to get going in the morning until I get to the next water source, so I don't have to make that long trip to the water source twice. And normally I have the longer one, Smart water bottle. This is a shorty. I'll get a longer one. This is what I would keep my water in as I'm hiking, because it's easy to get in and out of your backpack. And also too, if you're into the Sawyer squeeze, which if I didn't do Aquamira, I'd do Sawyer squeeze, it fits on here. Sawyer squeeze, it's a good filter, but the bags that come with it, unless they've improved it, they're just garbage. Total garbage. But it fits on the Smart water bottle. So that's my water system. Also too, in this bag would go toilet paper. And no, I would not take a roll of toilet paper. I always do this. Take it like this and roll a bunch off what you think you're going to need. And that would go in a Ziploc baggie in this bag on the outside of my pack. Because when you got to go, you don't want to be opening up and digging through your backpack. That's why also too, the water, when I want to get more water, I don't have to open up the backpack. You really don't want to have to be opening up your backpack during the day. Alright. Let's see, this is my electronics bag. This I have always recommended, get an MP3 player or an iPod. I always listen to music when I hike. I'll listen to audiobooks. Days where I just gotta wait out a rainstorm, I've got some entertainment. If you use your phone for that, it's just going to drain your phone, and then you're going to want to carry a solar charger or carry this, just extra weight. Use your phone for your phone, but I get 25 hours on a charge of music with this. It always gets me the next town to charge it up. And the nice thing about this SanDisk MP3 player, it has a micro slot card. So I have about 100 audio books, and I can put in the card and listen to whatever I want. 8 gigabytes of music on here, basically unlimited memory. Would not hike without this. And I have my micro cards. Because of my camera equipment and how much I love music when hiking, I do have a little charge thing to give it a boost just in case. A little heavier than I like, but I can charge up my MP3 player about 3 times with this, or my phone 1 time. And try to get the plug-in USB charger. Try to get one that has 2 slots, because it really sucks when you get to a hostel or somewhere and there's nowhere to plug in to charge up your crap. At least if you get 1 slot, you can do 2 things. Some extra cords and my earbuds, and of course my camera, and I have the, hey, I forgot I was doing the GoPro over here. I was given a GoPro, so when I do this I'm going to try editing back and forth, see how that looks. I will be taking the GoPro with me. really cool too because I can control it with my phone. And also too, with the phone, I have live weather radar on here, which I highly recommend. And another thing I will do when your phone's turned off, that is my mirror. So I don't have to carry a freaking mirror. Mirrors come in handy. Okay, let's see. Oh, and yeah, that would be it for the electronics. Yeah. Okay, move that over here. Wet wipes. I will be taking wet wipes with me. I freaking love wet wipes. And I made a discovery a while back by accident that let them dry out. And then you always have to need a dash of water. You squeeze it and that wet wipe's fully hydrated again. They're so much lighter when they're not wet. Now, of course, I won't have them in this. I will put them in a Ziploc baggie. But yeah, wet wipes. Alright, cook system. I don't know for sure. I've seen some talk on Facebook about maybe alcohol stoves are banned on parts of the AT. They never have been before. I've used an alcohol stove the entire 10 years I've been doing the Appalachian Trail. And I found one 9 years ago at a shelter, a Pepsi can stove, homemade, and I still have the damn thing. Probably because this is how I keep it. This is the windscreen. Pepsi can stove. See the little rings around it? You put denatured alcohol in there, you light it up, and then it burns up through the rings. This is the pot stand. I've gone through about 4 of these. But because I keep that in here, that always keeps that safe from getting crushed. Cook pot goes on top, windscreen goes around that. About all I ever do basically is boil water. Have my coffee and then whatever dinner crap I'm going to make. I've never used the canisters before. I just don't like them. But if there's regulations this year, I'll have to get some pocket rocket or something. But that's my cook system. And also got my new camp towel today. Lost my one last year. You definitely want a camp towel. The main reason you want this is when it's raining. You got a tent, it's raining, this will soak up the water, get it out quick. It really helps dry things off. You definitely want a camp towel. Now, this just came today in the mail. Comes in this little package here. I know you'd want to keep it in there just because it looks cool. Just extra crap, you don't need that. What I usually do with my camp towel is keep it in my cook pot. When you're packing a pack, you don't want any empty spaces in there, so this will go in there to help fill up this empty space. And then usually coffee cup will go in there too. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is heat in the yellow bottle. It's like 99% denatured alcohol. Do not get heat in the red bottle. It does not burn clean. This burns just like denatured. It's one reason I've always liked an alcohol stove is I can always get the fuel. Now, most places along the Appalachian Trail will have the canisters, but not always. But there's always an auto parts store, a hardware store. Walmart always sells these. You can always find fuel for an alcohol stove. I got this at Trail Days 2015. Gregory was giving them out for free. I love this little thing. Yeah, it probably weighs about 8 ounces or so, but what I like about it is when I got a safe place to leave my pack, and I can go around town and do things without having that pack with me. Well, I have things in the pack that are super valuable to me, like my camera gear, safety materials, things like that. And I can put this day pack on and just go out. Love this little thing. I use it all the time. Let's see. Butt pad. got to have a butt pad. Comes in handy for so many things. Of course, for one, for sitting on. And when it's rained and everything's wet, you can still sit down and keep your butt dry. I've used it as a dinner plate. Another reason that I like this is I have a 6-foot thermarest. I'm 5'10". I like to sleep on my stomach a lot, so my arms are up here. So instead of my arms being on the cold tent floor, I put this at the top of my thermarest and extends my thermarest out. Insulates my arms from there. And the other thing too I like about this is whipping up a fire. Great for that. Way better than blowing on it. Get you a butt pad. Hiking poles. Oh, by the way, see, it's alright for me to yellow blaze. I have a license. It's legal. You want hiking poles. Everybody has them. There's a reason for this. It's like having 4 legs. These have literally saved my life twice and have saved me from falling so many times. It's so much easier going uphill. It's much easier going downhill. I can never understand why anybody who is hiking with a full-size pack would not want to have hiking poles. And I do recommend don't cheap out on those Walmart brand ones. They will break. I've had these Leckies. That's a controversy there. Is it Lecky, Lucky, Leaky, L-E-K-I? I've never got a straight answer on the correct pronunciation. But anyway, I've had these for 4 years, and when you go to trail days, Lecky's there every year, and they'll fix anything wrong with your poles. Usually I'll get not brand new, nice used shafts. Alright, hiking poles. Let's see what else we got here. Alright. I really can't recommend footwear for you. I've said this before. Everybody's feet are different. Every bootmaker is different. I've always gone with the mid boot and leather because I like to have dry feet. I like the ankle support. I admit they're a little heavy. I wish I could find something this style that was lighter, but I'm not a rich person. Let me go into that. These are $225 boots. I won't know if a pair of boots work for me until I've been on the trail for a week. I, one year, got a deal on a pair of Merrells, the exact Renegade style, the exact same style as these boots. Worn for a week and they tore up my heel, just because it's slightly different make than these. So I found these Lows to work for me, and I know I can take them right out of the box and hike 500 miles with no problem, so I'm kind of stuck. Oh, also too, I saw this YouTube video. I heel strike on the outside of my heel, and I'll get about 500 miles, and then I gotta buy a damn new pair when nothing else is wrong with the boot. Well, I saw this thing where you can use shoe goo or free sole, and you get it level, you put some masking tape around here, and just pour it in and level it out. Well, I've tried that now, and I've done a lot of walking, and it's holding up as solid as the sole was. So no more buying new boots for a while. Wish I'd have heard about that 5 years ago. Okay, let's see. My sleeping bag, which is now 4 years old. I hope I can get one more year out of it. This is a Western Mountaineering. Used to be a 20-degree bag. Down, of course. I don't know what it is now. Hopefully I'll get through another season. Western Mountaineering, all American made, all American products, some of the best sleeping bags in the world. I highly recommend Western Mountaineering. And, let's see, this is a Sea to Summit compression dry bag. My sleeping bag's down, always goes in here, always. The one thing you've got to keep dry, no matter what, is your sleeping bag when the weather's like in March and April, May, when it's kind of cold. And that bag has to be dry. That sleeping bag is your final winter coat, your final place to go when you're freezing your balls off and everything is wet. So you want your bag, compression is good too to get it in your sleeping bag, but make sure it's a dry bag. Alright, tent. You've all seen my review of Lightheart Gear tents. This is my second one. I love this tent. It's a single wall tent, slightly under 2 pounds. Of course, this goes on the outside of the pack. I'm not going to get it out. You can see the video where I review it. Great tent though. Alright, now we're in the clothes. Alright. I have 2 bandanas, the other one somewhere else. But have 2 bandanas, the only cotton you should have, and comes in handy for so many things. I like Darn Tough socks. Just got a new pair, and I'm wearing a pair that I wore last year. That's all I'm going to start out with, just the 2 pair. You might want to go 3, but if you get your socks wet, you got to put them back on the next day. You've got to have 1 pair of dry socks to sleep in March, April, and May. Make sure you got a dry pair. Probably go 3, but I'll just go out there with 2. Let's see, merino wool buff. Last year was the first year I had one of these. It came in so handy when it was cold out. So handy. You lose so much heat to your neck and your face. I always have this with me. It's a little skull cap beanie that I usually wear in the summer. I always have a buzz cut, and even in the summer it'll get a little cool in the evenings when you're up in the woods on the trail. So I like this. I'm wearing my new marmot hat, which will be my go-to hat most of the time. The only thing I don't have yet is a winter hat, which I'm still looking on Amazon to pick one out. That would be the only gear that I still need to get. Gloves. Well, I've had these for a while. Got them at the EMS up in Connecticut. Can't remember the name of the town now. I cut the fingers out of these. These are about $15 gloves. These are what I'll be wearing most of the time. And then on, like last year, it was very mild, March and April, but I can remember at least maybe 6-7 times where the weather was freezing. Really, really bad. So I got these at the Army Navy. I think they're about $5, woolies. And what I'll do is when it's really bad like that, one inside the other. This will be for when it's super, super cold out. Those are my gloves. And of course, come May, once it warms up again towards summertime, the green gloves will go in a hiker box. No reason to be carrying crap you're not going to use. And once it warms up, I'll never need these. These will probably go in a bounce box. Alright, let's see. Well, this is my merino wool base layer that I bought last year. I got it on Amazon. I really like the material. It doesn't stink, but it didn't fit up tight, which I was very surprised when it came. And trying to return stuff on Amazon is a pain in the butt. So I hung on to it. So this year I bought like a cheaper polypropylene mid-weight top. I think it ran me maybe $25 on Amazon. Now this fits up to my body really snug, but not compression. I hate that compression crap. But this is up tight. You want that first layer to be snug next to your skin to hold in that body heat. So this will go on first, and then this over that, and then I have a Mountain Hardwear light fleece. I've had this 3 or 4 years too. It's not very thick, but with the fleece over that and then my down jacket, That's my layering system. That will keep me really good. I had some nice merino wool base layer bottoms that I lost in Portland last year, Portland, Oregon, and so money's been tight, so I didn't want to spend the money on another pair of merino wool. So I got these cold puffs, which they don't seem too bad. Midweight, I think I paid maybe 25 bucks for these on Amazon. Just got my new hiking t-shirt. I've had the Mountain Hardwear t-shirt before. I wore the one I had last year like 3 years in a row, and I think I actually just threw it away. One thing about being a thru hiker is you wear the same damn clothes every day, so when I'm on camera it's the same crap every day and every year. So anyway, I went with black this year. I got a great deal on this on Amazon. These are normally like $40 shirts. I paid $16 for this. And then, yeah, I lost a lot of crap last year, it seems like. I lost my hiking pants somewhere in Virginia last summer. Don't ask me. So I've always had the Mountain Hardwear pants. Again, can't afford that, so I went with Columbia. I was pleasantly surprised by these. I really like these pants. And of course, come towards the end of May, when it warms up, I'll switch over to shorts, and all I wear is shorts then. You can really lighten your pack up in summer because you don't need all these winter clothes, and clothes are heavy. This is my Lucky Buff. This is the buff I'll keep with me when it's warm out, and just an alternative. One thing I like about this is I'll put it on and then have the back flapping. It's great for keeping flies off your head. As you're moving, it moves around. We won't go into insects. Let's see. This is my Marmot light jacket, which it won't start out with me on the trail. When it warms up, this will always be in my pack. Like I said before, even in summer, it can get a little cool in the evenings. I like this lightweight jacket. God, I've had this for 8 years probably. One thing, if you take care of your gear, it will last. And for me, not having any backup or savings or really much any money, my life depends on my gear. I always take care of it. I always watch it, and I would never leave it anywhere. If my stuff got stolen, it'd be a nightmare. My down jacket. Marmot again. Trade.com 2 years ago. Got a good deal on it. Hopefully it'll get me through one more year. And let's see, that leaves my rain gear. Now I've always, until last year, I always had the Mountain Hardwear black rain pants and coat, where the coat costs $150, the pants cost $100, and supposedly it breathes, the precept bullshit. Let me tell you something. That rain gear does not breathe, and they wear out quick. If you look on the inside, there's usually a shiny lining or something on the inside. As soon as that crap comes off, the whole jacket is not waterproof whatsoever. So last year, Judy from Lightheart Gear sent me some rain gear to try out, and I was amazed. Yeah, it doesn't breathe. Well, neither does the other crap. This is basically made out of the same material as the tent. And it packs up smaller, it's lighter, this has pockets, has a zipper, it has everything the other jackets have without the weight. I just wish it would have come in black. And got the pants. You definitely want rain gear. Believe me, you want rain gear. Now, come summertime, it's a toss-up if I keep rain gear in a bounce box. In case you don't know, a bounce box is a priority mailbox that you put stuff in that you don't want now, but you may need a week later, a couple weeks later. What you can do is, once you do the priority mailbox, you can mail it to the next address. you show up. As long as you don't open it or take it out of the post office, you can mail it on up the trail for free. You can keep doing that until you open it or take it out of the post office. And you get the tracking number with it so you can keep track of it. Alright, that is, except for the food, that is all that goes in my pack. Now I'm going to take a break, smoke a cigarette, and I'll set the camera up and show you how to pack a pack. Alright, this is how to pack your pack, or at least how I pack mine. One thing I forgot before, headlamp. Make sure you got a good headlamp. Gotta have one. And get one that has a red light so you don't piss people off at night. Headlamp. Alright, this is kind of old school. But this is how the lightweight packs first got started. Everybody was using the Thermarest self-inflator, which I also forgot to mention. I've always liked the 6'4" Season self-inflator, the one that has some foam in it. Gives you good insulation from the ground. I think they're more durable, and those blow-up ones like the Neo Air, they make a ton of noise every time you move. But I always take my sleeping pad and I fold it up into a rectangle. This goes down into your pack first. Then your sleeping bag and the waterproof compression sack. This always goes in the bottom of the bag. Now the reason why a lot of those hiking and camping backpacks weigh so much, they have a frame sheet in here, they have these stays, big heavy hip belt, all that extra crap. By putting my Thermarest in here and wedging the sleeping bag down into it, I have made my frame. That's why this pack is under 2 pounds. Really probably about 1.5 pounds. There's the frame of your pack. Alright, now normally the next thing to go in would be your food bag. You want the heaviest item in your pack, which is always your food bag, up next to your lower back, sitting in the position where it's supported on the hip belt. Well, I don't have a food bag. So next we go, this is the bag that had stuff that I don't use every day, but I carry with me. Cook pot goes down there next. Electronics bag. Day pack, I explained that to you. You don't have to have one of these, but it's just something extra I take. And let's see. That would be it. Now the food bag would be probably about this size. This is my clothing bag. Food bag would go in. I always put the clothing bag as the last thing. Why? Because it's malleable and it'll help seal the top of your pack. Keep water from getting in, and it just, you can squeeze it down and compress it. No top lid and none of that extra weight bullshit and zippers on this pack. Velcro seal. You roll it down. Clip. And clip. Now, always on the outside. Butt pad. You want to stop while you're hiking, take a break, sit down, boom, you pull it right out. Again, you don't need to be opening up your pack during the daytime. Next, my tent. tent on the outside of the pack. Again, if it's raining and you got to make camp, you don't want to be opening up your backpack and digging around finding your tent. Boom, it's on the outside. And what I'll usually do is, if it's raining and I'm setting up my tent, lean my pack up against a tree, get it as much out of the rain, keep it sealed up. Everything will stay dry. This, I explained to you, is my aqua mirror, my platypus water container, my toilet paper, stuff that I need on the outside of the pack. That goes right down in here. This is my rain gear. Again, you want this on the outside of the pack. If it starts raining, you want to be able to get to it. This will go down on the other side. Now, denatured alcohol, I always carry this on the outside of the pack. Just in case it leaks or anything, you don't want that on the inside. I'll stick that in there. Because I'm right-handed, my smart water bottle goes on this side. And that is one pack. Probably thinking, how much does that weigh? Well, I don't know. I'd probably say 9-10 pounds. I'll put about 7 pounds of food in there, and that'll be it. So I hope I helped you out some with this information. I didn't have anything else to do. It's like the third week in January, and I'm just trying to hang in there until March, when I can get back out there and be free again. I have got to find a better way to spend winter time. Anyway, I hope you come out to do a through hike, and I hope you go all the way. Later.